Did you think Squid Game was just a TV show? What if there was a place where the victims couldn't escape, just like in that show? In the 1980s, South Korea, there was a state-supported rehabilitation center. But it was no place of healing. It was a center of systematic torture. And this real story is far darker than Squid Game. What I'm about to tell you will make Squid Game seem innocent in comparison. After the devastation of the Korean War, as the country rapidly modernized, the authorities began searching for ways to clean up the streets. In 1975, a directive gave police patrols the authority to detain homeless people, orphaned children, the disabled, or anyone simply deemed unsightly. These people were seen as damaging to the nation's image. The Brothers Welfare Center in Busan, known among locals as Brothers Home, became the largest trap in this hunt. Official reports claimed it had 400 beds. By 1986, more than 4,000 people were counted inside. White vans roamed the neighborhoods at night, swallowing up anyone from pickpockets to high schoolers late on their way home. Just like in Squid Game. Where they were taken, there were dormitories housing 80 to 100 people, double-decker iron bunk beds, and identical gray uniforms. Again, just like in Squid Game. Hair was shaved and numbers were painted on wrists. Names were erased. At dawn, sirens would blare, and detainees were marched to 20 different workshops. Packaging detergent, laying bricks, working textile looms. The state paid subsidies per head, while the products were sold on the market. The system operated under strict military discipline. The dorms were thick with the smell of sweat and disinfectant. Under the guise of hygiene, only 30 toothbrushes were distributed among 120 people, with the phrase, "Learn to share." Changing clothes was forbidden. The same uniform, same underwear, sometimes worn unwashed for a year. If lice spread and someone started scratching, beatings were inevitable. 13-year-old Juan, who failed to discipline his group, was hosed down at midnight and forced to lie naked on a concrete floor until morning. Just like in the show, the system was governed by military-like discipline. For every 120 people, a team leader was chosen to keep others in line, and the slightest mistake could result in group beatings. Official records list 657 deaths. Witnesses claim the real number reached thousands, with bodies buried without identification. While the show depicted organ sales, here, some corpses were sold to universities as cadavers. Death itself turned into profit. The gates to the outside world opened only for Sunday worship. When Protestant missionaries visited, children were made to sing hymns. Once the donation boxes filled, the performance ended. As soon as the visitors left, the electric currents on the fences were switched back on. Escape was the only hope for those inside, but the punishment for getting caught was crueler than Squid Game's red light. One woman, abducted at the age of 7, said, "There were children younger than me, even babies." One of the most tragic stories. A child, after spending years inside, one day saw a familiar face among the new arrivals, his own father. After losing his son, the man turned to alcohol and eventually became one of the very people the police targeted. Yes, it was terrifyingly similar to that fictional show. Thanks to the survivors who refused to stay silent, on August 23, 2022, South Korea's Truth and Reconciliation Commission officially recognized the abuses at Brothers Home between 1975 and 1987 as state violence. On March 27, 2025, the Supreme Court ordered the government to pay damages for the first time. More lawsuits are pending. 31 children listed as missing in official documents were revealed to have been adopted by foreign families using fake orphan paperwork. Over 5,000 case files are still under investigation. Today, behind the rusted gates of the camp, the numbers etched into the walls remain. The Squid Game arena was a set. At Brothers' home, the game was real, and the cameras never stopped rolling. The true victims are still waiting for justice, and maybe if we listen to their story, we can finally understand the warning Squid Game tried to give us. We thought the game was over, but in truth, it had already been played, and it consumed hundreds of lives.